I just love that and appreciate that about the bravery of our storytellers. Thank you, Jamie, for bringing your story. That was just so beautiful. Yeah. So our next storyteller up is Maria Kostas. Please give a warm hand for a second-time storyteller, and she's awesome. Here she comes.
Two friends and I went to Women and Children First, a feminist bookstore in Chicago last fall. We went to hear some young people tell their stories. A young person got up on stage. The topic was gender identity. They were wearing dark pants, a bow tie, a white shirt, the rainbow flag colors suspenders. And they said, "I'm not a man, I'm not a woman, I'm just me, I'm just me." And that was completely okay with me. But then, they looked right at my friends and I sitting in the back row. 180 years of experience between the three of us, and that's just on this planet. And they said, "Forget about trying to explain it to anyone over 50. They just don't get it." I started to get up, but I didn't, because I have been meditating for 15 years. And I can see with neutrality, and I know that judgment just stops communication. There might be a more creative way to get through to them. 1974. It's my second year of college. She saunters into the room. She's wearing a dark blue jean jacket, dark glasses. She doesn't have any books, but she's carrying a styrofoam cup. And she saunters over to me, sits across from the table, and said, "You want some of my coffee?" I did want some of her coffee. I didn't know why, though. I didn't really understand what was going on. I had no words for it. We became friends that day, and we spent a lot of times running around. She trying to seduce me trying to figure out why, if I enjoyed drinking and eating with my boyfriend, why now? Why now did I want some coffee? "Well, you're bisexual," she said, "and it's okay with me. But Maria, don't tell any lesbians you're bisexual. They're going to think you have a disease. Or they'll think you're sleeping with the enemy. They're not going to trust you. They're not going to come near you with a 10-foot pole. Don't tell anyone. You'll never get laid. You're never going to score. However you want to look at it, it's not going to happen for you. Just keep it a secret." After teasing me all semester, she also told me she didn't want to be my first cup of coffee. Women fall in love with their first, Maria. I don't want anyone in love with me. Well, there I was at 19, a bisexual, going into a lesbian bar with my secret for the first time by myself in the city of Chicago. Now, at that time, you could drink beer or wine in the city of Chicago if you were 19, so at least I had, finally, a real ID. I took a deep breath. I step out of the car. There's an upside-down old-style sign. There's one rectangular window. No light comes out of the window. I walk in and I'm carded at the bar. She's wearing a dark black shirt, a dark black leather jacket, black pants. She has thick black hair and like a streak of gray over her head. She looks a little tough. It was CK's. Phyllis M., that was her name. She took a step back and she started to undress me with her eyes from my head down, lingering at my V-neck, down my then flat stomach, my pants, my shoes, and back up again. And she said, "Well, what are you?" Excuse me? What are you? Are you butch or femme? I can't tell. All right, I was wearing earth shoes. They had a pocket watch on too. I might have confused her a little bit. I'm 19! She did let me in. I found out then that in the 70s, in the city of Chicago, in the lesbian bars, you were either butch or you were femme, and there really wasn't a lot of room in between. Well, I really wasn't butch enough to be with the femmes. And I really was too butch to be with the butches. It really wasn't working out for me. I mean, really, I went on a date with a woman, she drove me home, and at the end she said, "You know, you're really nice, Maria, but like you're butch and I'm butch, and it's really not gonna work." So, I went home, and I thought, what's happening to me? Was I born this way? I felt a bit lost. I told one of my friends, and I told her I thought I might be bisexual. She stopped hanging around me. I really couldn't tell my mother, because my mother, when I was in high school, worked for a lesbian. And one day she came home and she told my sister and I she was quitting her job because in the deepest part of her soul, she thought it was so sick and wrong. She couldn't stand being around her boss. There really wasn't many people I could talk to at the time. So, I thought to myself, well, is it from another life? Was I born this way? I am a Virgo, it is the bisexual sign. I'm Greek, some people think it's in our genes. I went back to my earliest memories, and I'm 4 years old at my grandmother's house. I'm on my rocking horse. I like that horse. There's a big picture window mirror on the side of the wall, and Zorro's on. I've got my Zorro hat on, and I'm looking at Zorro, and I'm looking at me, and I'm looking at Zorro, and I'm looking at me, and I'm looking at Zorro, and I'm not watching Zorro. I am Zorro! Then, 2 years later, the rifleman is on. I'm still on my horse at my grandmother's house. This time I've got a rifle. The rifleman's son was named Mark. And I'm looking at Mark, and I'm looking at me. I'm looking at Mark, and I'm looking at me. Now I know I'm not Mark. I'm a little older, but I want to be Mark, and I want to jump on my horse and grab my rifle and ride off and say, "Bye, Pa." By 11 years old, I'm off the horse. It's Haley Mills in The Trouble of Angels. Haley Mills played Mary, the one who caused the trouble. It was a Catholic boarding school, for those who don't know. Oh my God, Haley Mills, her brooding face, her thick lips, her voice, her English accent. I knew I was not Haley Mills. I didn't want to be Haley Mills. I wanted to be next to Haley Mills. I want to run around and smoke cigarettes in the bathroom with Haley Mills. I want to get in trouble with the nuns with Haley Mills. I want to listen to Haley Mills' scathingly brilliant ideas. Oh, Haley Mills! Is it really just programming? Well, right now, if they were to invite me to Women and Children First to talk about identity and gender, I have something that I'd like to say to them. It's really about owning your crown, and you know what? Maybe you have to be over 30 to understand this, but me, I come from a tribe of healers and priests, teachers and heretics, passionate dancers smashing traditions. I've been the slave, the whore. I've been the Madonna. I've been the man and the woman, the brother, the lover. I've moved through the dark nights, and getting stuck in the mud, I call back the alchemist, and transforming shape, I fly across time carrying my gifts with me. Because I've known Dionysus, theater, and rituals, ecstasy without drugs. I talk to the plants. I listen to the birds. The dogs heal my many lives as we lay in bed with blankets or on the earth. The wind has carried my spirit as I rode horses and ran races, my body and mind tuned enough to survive Eros. Lifetimes of friends show up. We serve each other good food and liquor. We drink coffee. We know the 6 types of love that the Greeks know. My ancestors pull me. They're competitive and fierce, and they want me on their side, and why not? I'm strong, and I'm a protector, and I know how to play. But this time, my abilities and tools sharp. This time, I'm the warrior, and I thank God for the Trinity in me as I step back and take my crown of gold. Thanks.